So good morning. Good morning to everyone. Today we'll have our first lecture on cell structure and function. So just for the information of everybody, this PowerPoint presentation was created by Doc Rosita Roldan Can of the biology department. So we're borrowing it from him. But all of the contents were taken from Campbell, the book of Campbell 10th edition. So if you would like to read more about the details, you can check it from this book, Campbell 10th edition. So to begin with, let's have this PowerPoint slide. It says here that the fundamental units of life, all organisms are made up of cells. So these are cell theory. And it says here that all organisms are made up of cells. The cell is the simplest collection of matter that can be alive. All cells are related by their descent from earlier cells, and cells can differ substantially from one another but share common features. So for our first lecture today, we will be dealing with all of the components of the cell and eventually learn kung bakit ba siya naging simplest collection of all matter. Okay, and please take note that cell is the basic unit of life. Kaya natin siya inaaral. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng nabubuhay ay may cell. Alright? Meron tayong tinatawag na virus. Virus doesn't have, do you know that virus is not alive nor dead? So, ang virus, wala silang cell. So, kapag ang virus ay napasok sa loob ng cell, tsaka sila nabubuhay. So, kapag nandyan sila sa environment, para silang zombie. Patay sila. Hindi nila kayang mabuhay. Pero pag na-inhale niyo yung virus at nakapasok yun sa cells niyo, sa respiratory cells niyo, doon na-activate sila. So according to this statement that all organisms are made up of cells, ibig sabihin ang mga virus ay hindi sila organism kasi wala naman silang cell. But other things na may cell, like for example, bacteria, protist, fungi, animal, plants, lahat yan ay may cell. Ibig sabihin, they are living things. They are alive. Okay, so there are two basically types of cells. One is called prokaryotic and the other one is eukaryotic. So these are the basic structural and functional unit. Prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Now, what's the difference? Only organisms of the domains bacteria and archaea consist of prokaryotic cells. Now, if you go back to evolutionary history, meron tayong tinatawag na bacteria or eubacteria at may tinatawag tayong archaea. Itong dalawa na to, itong dalawang domain na ito, they are bacteria. This one, and this one, they are both bacteria. But magkaiba sila ng characteristics in terms of like one difference between this is yung kanilang habitat, kung saan sila nakikita. Archaea, they are usually found in extreme environment. Like for example, hot environment. Methane, high methane concentration environment. High sulfuric concentration environment, high salinity concentration environment. So, mga extreme environment yung tinitirhan nitong mga archaea. While bacteria or eubacteria these are the common bacteria that we know. Okay? Staphylococcus aureus, yung mga bacteria na nagkukos ng sakit. So, yun yung mga common bacteria na nabilong dito sa bacteria na to, sa eubacteria. Now, dahil pareho silang bacteria, ang tawag sa cells nila ay prokaryotic. Prokaryotic. Now, other organisms than these two, ang tawag sa kanila ay eukaryotic or eukaryotic cells. What are these? Protists, fungi, animal, plants, lahat yan, eukaryotic sila. Okay? Pero ano ba ang pinagkaparehas ng eukaryotic cell at prokaryotic cell? So we have the basic features of all cells here. Number one, they have both plasma membrane. Meron din silang semi-fluid substance called cytosol or the cytoplasm. Meron silang chromosome kasi the chromosome is the one that carry the genes. And they also have ribosome. So yan yung pinagkaparehas nung prokaryotic tsaka ng eukaryotic. Okay? Now let's talk about the prokaryotic first. Okay, so para mas maintindihan natin kung ano bang difference ni prokaryotic at eukaryotic, pag-usapan muna natin si prokaryotic. Prokaryotic are characterized by having no nucleus. Please take note, wala silang nucleus. No nucleus. So what do they have is a nucleoid. Nucleoid is an area where their DNA are located, kung nasaan yung kanilang genetic material. Pero wala silang nucleus. Okay? Wala rin silang membrane-bound organelles. When we say organelles, these are special components inside the cell na may specific role. So mamaya, i-mention ko sa inyo yung mga organelles na yon, pero for prokaryotic cells, wala sila nun. Okay? Okay, so now, the prokaryotic cells, meron din silang cytoplasm. Yung kanina mention natin, yung cytosol. So, etong cytoplasm, yung area sa loob ng cell, kung saan naka-embed lahat ng mga materials. Right? So, again, wala silang nucleus, pero meron silang nucleoid, kung nasaan yung kanilang DNA. Usually, ang DNA ng mga bacteria is circular, pabilog lang. Yan, ganyan lang kasimple yung kanilang DNA. Wala silang membrane-bound organelles, pero may ribosome sila ha. May mga ribosome sila dito. And then, meron din silang cytoplasm. So, very, very simple ng prokaryotic cell. Again, sino yung mga prokaryotic cells? Bacteria. Pwedeng Archaebacteria or Eubacteria. How about eukaryotic? Eukaryotic is more complex because the DNA is enclosed by an nucleus. Etong kulay purple na to, this is the nucleus. So inside the nucleus, they have the DNA. If you know the DNA, it is double helix. Ganyan yung tsura ng DNA, right? So mas complicated siya compare kay bacteria na circular lang. Also, ang mga eukaryotic cells, they do have a membrane-bound organelles. So, itong mga kulay brown na to, let's assume these are the organelles. So, organelles play a very important function or special function inside the cell. We will list them later on. Meron din silang cytoplasm in the region between the plasma membrane and nucleus. So, the plasma membrane is also called cell membrane or cellular membrane. So, yan yung nagko-cover sa buong cell. So, nasa outermost layer siya ng cell. Okay? At ang sabi dyan, in between the plasma membrane and the nucleus, ito si nucleus, you'll find your cytoplasm. So, itong yellow part, ibig sabihin yan yung cytoplasm. And just like the bacteria, cytoplasm is the area where all the materials are embedded, kung nasaan yung membrane-bound organelles and even the nucleus, kung nasaan yun yung cytoplasm. Now, if we're going to compare the size between eukaryotic and prokaryotic, eukaryotic cells are larger than the prokaryotic cells and mas complicated. Okay? So we have here a panoramic view of eukaryotic cell. So may dalawang klase tayo ng eukaryotic. We have plant cell. This is plant cell, so P, no? And we have here A for animal cell. So magkaiba sila ha, pero pareha silang eukaryotic. So eukaryotic cell has internal membranes that partition the cell into organelles. The basic fabric of biological membranes is double layer of phospholipid and other lipids. And plant and animal cell have most of the same organelles. So ang eukaryotic plant cell, meron siyang cell wall. Okay, so we have the cell membrane here at meron pa tayong cell wall. Okay, so we have the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. So dalawang layer yung kanilang protection. And by the way, yung kanilang plasma membrane, later on i-discuss ko rin naman, yung kanilang plasma membrane, double layer din ng phospholipid. Okay, mamaya I'll show you. And also, ang mga plant cell, meron silang central vacuole. Central vacuole. If you notice, yung central vacuole, it occupies the center of the plant cell. While the nucleus is just adjacent to it, nasa gilid lang. Okay? Kasi ang pinaka-importanteng trabaho naman ng itong mga plant cell is to make food, right? Ang mga plants, kailangan nilang gumawa ng sarili nilang pagkain. So, iniimbak nila yon kay central vacuole. So, ano naman yung component ng cell nila na nagumagawa ng pagkain? So, we have now your chloroplast. Itong kulay green na ito. So, these are chloroplast. So, the chloroplast is the site for photosynthesis, area ng photosynthesis. So, pag nakagawa sila ng food, dyan sa chloroplast, iniimbak nila kay central vacuole para marami silang pagkain. In terms of shape, if you will notice, ang plant cell, definite yung shape, structural, no? And that's because of, again, of the cell wall. Unlike for animal cell, indefinite. Kasi wala tong cell wall ang mga animal cell. Wala rin silang vacuole, wala rin silang chloroplast. At ang mapapansin nyo, yung nucleus is the one that occupies the center. Okay? Siya yung nasa gitna, yung nucleus. While for the plant cell, it's actually the vacuole. So, yan yung dalawang klase ng eukaryotic cell. So, here are some examples of different cells from different organisms. So, this is the plant cell, animal cell. This is the animal cell. You see the nucleus here, okay? We have the fungal cell, fungi. Okay, so we have also yeast here. Yeast is a fungi. Alam niyo yung pampaalis sa pagkain, sa tinapay. So, yun ay fungi. So, ito ang kanyang itsura ng kanyang cell. So, may cell wall siya, may nucleus, okay? May vacuole din. Pero siya ay under fungi, hindi siya plant. Next, we have plant cell here. So, you see the green color, these are chloroplasts. Maraming siyang green color kasi yan, kailangan nila yan para makagawa ng pagkain. You have the nucleus here and nucleolus here. Okay, and this is unicellular eukaryotes, protists, so Chlamydomonas. So for Chlamydomonas, may flagella, ibig sabihin nakakagalaw tong mga organism na to, nakakapag-perform din ng photosynthesis kasi meron silang chloroplast, may nucleus din. Okay? So these are example of different organisms and their cell. Now, let's talk about the component of the cell. So, papangalanan natin kung ano ba yung mga meron sa cell. Number one on our list is the plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is also called as cell membrane for other textbooks. So, baka makabasa kayo sa ibang textbook at sabihin nyo, hindi naman namin ito napag-aralin. It's actually also the plasma membrane. Now, the plasma membrane is selective, namimili lang ng kung sino yung papapasukin niya. Okay? Passage of oxygen, nutrients, waste to service the volume of every cell. So this is an example of cell membrane or plasma membrane. So ito yung micrograph. So mapapansin nyo, ito yung cell, pabilog yan na ganyan. So ito yung outside of the cell, ito yung inside of the cell. So again, ito yung plasma membrane. So in illustration, ganito yung itsura nila. And as I mentioned to you a while ago, that the plasma membrane is actually composed of phospholipid. So, this is phospholipid, yung isang ito. So, ganito yung itsura niyan kung ito-drawing ko. Ganyan. Yan. So, this is phospholipid. May phosphate, tsaka may lipid na magkasama. Ngayon, ang mga cell membrane, it is double layer, bilayer. So, meron tayong first layer, at meron tayong second layer. So, ang kapal niya, di ba? Ang kapal ng phospholipid bilayer. Ngayon, yung gitna niyan, yung center, this one, yan, yung kulay yellow, this one, this region, is hydrophobic region. Hydrophobic, phobic. Takot siya sa tubig. Ayaw niya ng tubig. While yung mga head part, etong gray color, this is the hydrophilic region. Gustong-gusto niya naman water-loving. So, kung lalagyan natin ng illustration dito sa gilid, so ito, gusto niya ng water. Okay? So, yun ang tubig. Tapos ito naman, ayaw niya ng water. Okay. Hydrophobic siya. And that is also the reason why nagiging selective siya. Selective, hindi lahat pwedeng makapasok kasi nga magkaiba sila ng polarity. Okay, so ito ang itsura ng ating plasma membrane. Aside from having phospholipid bilayer, meron din tayong proteins. Etong mga kulay purple na to, na nakikita nyo, na naka-embed, these are proteins. So dahil selective barrier nga tong phospholipid, etong mga proteins na to, pwede siyang maging daanan ng mga molecules para makapasok. So makita nyo parang may hollow dyan or may channel kung saan pwedeng pumasok yung molecules. Ganyan. Para makapasok in and out or outside to inside. Okay? So, anong tawag dito? Proteins. Proteins. Next, let's go now with nucleus. So, the nucleus is the control center of the cell. Ibig sabihin, all of the activities of the cell is being controlled by the nucleus. The nucleus contains the cell's genes. Okay, siya yung nagko-contain ng DNA. It is enclosed by nuclear envelope and nuclear membrane. The nuclear membrane is also a double membrane. So, katulad din nung na-discuss ko kanina kay cell membrane or kay plasma membrane, phospholipid bilayer. So, ganun din si nuclear membrane ha. Dalawa din, no? Double din. And each membrane consists of lipid bilayer. Oh, okay. So double na siya. Tapos, let's draw. So, this is phospholipid. Do you recognize it? It's phospholipid. So, this is just one. Okay, so this is bilayer. Dalawang layer. Pero dahil double membrane pa nga daw, so, big sabihin, dalawang ganito yung itsura ng nuclear membrane. It's a double membrane. Double bilayer. So, ganyan. So, sobrang kapal. So, we have one membrane and two membrane. So, double membrane. Okay? So, the nucleolus is located within the nucleus and is the site for rRNA. So, this is the nucleolus. So, ang trabaho ng nucleolus inside the nucleus ay gumawa ng ribosomal RNA or rRNA. And if you notice, dito sa ating cell or nuclear membrane, may mga pores, may mga butas-butas. So, yung mga butas na yan, ang tawag dyan ay pores or nuclear pore. It regulates the entry and exit of molecules from the nucleus. So, dyan lumalabas si rRNA. Dyan din pumapasok si rRNA. So, ganito yung itsura niya. Pore complex yung itsura. So, you have here ribosome attached also. And it allows passages. It regulates the entry and exit of molecules from the nucleus or in the nucleus. Okay. Next, so inside the nucleus, it contains the DNA. This is the DNA. Remember, it's helical, it's double helix. Now, the DNA and proteins of chromosomes together are called chromatin. So this is the DNA, and then the yellow color here, these are histones, these are proteins. Now, kapag magkasama daw yung histones or yung proteins and DNA, ang tawag sa kanila ay chromatin. No, kapag yung chromatin na yan, nag-condense yan, nagfo-form sila ng chromosome. At nangyayari lang to when the cell is preparing to divide. So, ito yung itsura ng chromosome. Kapag magkakaroon ng cell division, yung chromatin, nagiging chromosome. Later on, we will mention this when we go to cellular division. Next is the ribosome. Another component of the cell is the ribosome. Ribosome is the protein factories, tagagawa ng protein. So, ang ribosome, made up of ribosomal RNA and also protein. So again, siya ay tagagawa ng protein synthesis. Now, meron tayong dalawang klase ng ribosome. Meron tayong free, ibig sabihin nandiyan lang siya sa cytosol or cytoplasm. At meron din tayong attached or bound ribosome. Ito ay nakadikit sa endoplasmic reticulum or sa nuclear envelope. So later on, makikita nyo, papakita ko sa inyo yung itsura ng ribosome na naka-attach kay endoplasmic reticulum or nuclear envelope. For now, I would like you to remember that ribosome is the site for protein synthesis and meron siyang dalawang unit. Meron siyang large subunit at meron siyang small subunit. Okay? Next, let's now go to the endomembrane system. Endomembrane system regulates protein traffic and performs metabolic function of the cell. It consists of nuclear envelope, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body, lysosome, vacuoles, plasma membrane. These components, ito daw, lahat to, are either continuous or connected via transferred by vesicle. So let's learn how they work together. So this is endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum accounts for more than half of the total membrane in many eukaryotic cells. So it's actually a continuation of the nuclear envelope. Kaya ang location ng mga endoplasmic reticulum is near the nucleus kasi yan ay continuation ng nuclear envelope. Now we have two. We have the smooth ER and the rough ER. Smooth, makinis, no? Parang mukha na walang pimples, smooth siya kasi wala siyang ribosomes. Now, yung mga rough, eto yon. Kita nyo, mayroon siyang mga yellow-yellow na naka-attach. So, these are the ribosomes and yan yung tinatawag na rough ER. So, okay, so in a micrograph, ganito yung itsura. We have rough ER, may mga attached ribosomes. At ito yung smooth, wala siyang ribosomes. Anong trabaho ng smooth ER? Nagsisynthesize ng lipids, nagme-metabolize ng carbohydrates, nagde-detoxify ng drugs and poisons, at nagsusstore ng calcium ions. Anong trabaho ng ER? So, siya ay nagsisekret ng glycoproteins. Itong glycoproteins ay importanteng part ng ECM or extracellular membrane, which later on we'll mention also. At nagtatransport din sila ng vesicles. Okay, secretory proteins surrounded by membrane. It's a membrane factory of the cell. So remember, itong mga rough ER, meron siyang ribosome. Anong trabaho ng ribosome? Tagagawa ng protein. So every time na may matatapos na protein si ribosome, etong si ER, gumagawa siya ng transport vesicle para isecrete yung protein na nagawa ni ribosome kung saan niya dadalhin. Okay? So ayan, no? Ito yung vesicle, transport vesicle. Nagpipinch off kay rough ER, tapos i-deliver na ni vesicle kung saan niya dadalhin. Ang pwedeng puntahan ng transport vesicle is yung Golgi body. Kasi ano bang trabaho ng Golgi body? Golgi body is a shipping or receiving center. So parang factory talaga. Bawo, umorder ka ng sapatos. Gagawin ni ribosome yung sapatos, i-deliver ni ER through a vesicle doon kay Golgi body. At ang trabaho ni Golgi body is for quality control. Kailangan niyang i-check, okay, maganda, tama ba yung kulay ng sapatos? Maganda ba? Wala bang sira? Hindi ba butas yung sapatos? Yun ang trabaho na ni Golgi body. Shipping and receiving center. So it consists of flattened membranous sac called cisternae. So these are the cisternae. And the function of the Golgi body is to modify the product. Kapag ka may mali, so aayusin. Isusort niya at ipapackage. Kapag ka maganda, quality control, pwede nang i-deliver sa bahay ninyo. So, ang gagawin niya, isusort niya at ipapackage niya into a transport vesicle also. Also, nagma-manufacture din tong si Golgi body ng certain macromolecules. So, ayan, ito yung transport vesicle, and then magfo-fuse yung vesicle na yun kay Golgi body, i-check ni Golgi body. Kapag okay na, magfo-form uli ng transport vesicle. So magpipinch off uli yung mga vesicle na yan. Okay? I hope you're getting the story. Next is the lysosomes. The lysosome is a digestive compartment, digestive. Meron siyang dinadigest. So, it's a membranous sac of hydrolytic enzyme. May enzyme sa loob si lysosome na dinadigest niya yung mga macromolecule. So, ang dinadigest ay macromolecule. Lysosomal enzyme work best in acidic environment inside the lysosome. Now, the hydrolytic enzyme or lysosomal membranes are made by rough ER and then transferred to Golgi apparatus for further processing. So, yung katulad ng kinuwento ko kanina, no? From ER, so gagawin ni ER itong hydrolytic enzyme, and then ipapacheck kay Golgi apparatus. Kapag okay na, magkakaroon ulit tayo ng vesicle. And yung vesicle na yun, eventually magiging lysosome naman. So, si lysosome is ready now to digest yung mga materials or mga macromolecules inside the cell. So, ito yung mga itsura ng ating lysosome. So, here. So, vesicle din siya. Bilog-bilog din. Okay? Next, so this is the lysosome. So, lysosome pa rin tayo. So, aside from digesting macromolecules, ang lysosome, they also work for phagocytosis. Ibig sabihin, yung mga cell, they engulf another cell. Kinakain ng cell yung isang cell. Tapos, kapag nag-fuse yung material sa loob, ang gagawin ngayon ni lysosome is, ida-digest niya yung mga molecules na hindi kailangan. Also, etong lysosome, they also use enzymes to recycle. Yung kapag may sira na material sa loob ng cell, kailangan niyang ayusin. So, ginagawa ni lysosome, nire-recycle niya yung organelle or macromolecules. At ang tawag sa process ng pagre-recycle is autophagy. Okay, autophagy. Okay, next is the vacuole. So for vacuole, we mentioned vacuole a while ago, specifically for plant cell. So it is a large vesicle derived from ER also and Golgi apparatus. And ang kanyang function is food vacuole. Okay, lalagyanan ng food. Pwedeng contractile vacuole, yung ibang species or organism like protists, meron sila niyang contractile vacuole. Para saan si contractile vacuole? Ang mga protists na to nakatira sa freshwater, sa tubig. So para hindi sila malunod, okay, let's say hindi pumutok yung cell kasi papasok sa katawan nila yung tubig eh. Para hindi pumutok yung cell, nilalabas ng mga contractile vacuole. Meron din tayong central vacuole, yung sa plants, ang trabaho niyan is to hold organic compounds and even water. So this is an example of central vacuole. What's the work of central vacuole? To hold compounds, organic compounds or water. Central vacuole, iba si food vacuole, iba si central vacuole. Iba yung kanilang function. Si central vacuole is more on water, while food vacuole is for food. Okay. So, now we have, so just a review, no, systematic review. So we have the nucleus here, we have the ER, we have smooth ER sa dulo. So pag nakapag-manufacture yung ribosome ng protein or anything na kailangan, ilalagay kay ER or rough ER, tapos i-deliver ni rough ER through a vesicle kay Golgi body. Si Golgi body, anong trabaho? To sort, to package, to check the quality. Kapag okay, if that material is ilalabas sa cell, so magpipinch off uli yung vesicle from Golgi body, yan, tapos magta-transport na siya papuntang plasma membrane, and that vesicle will fuse sa plasma membrane para mailabas tong mga material na ito. Okay? So you see, even a cellular level, very busy yung katawan ninyo. Very busy yung katawan natin. They do this. They do this currently. Even when you are sleeping, they are also working for you. Okay, so mitochondria and chloroplasts change energy from one form to another. Mitochondria are the sites of cellular respiration, a metabolic process that uses oxygen to generate ATP. So basically, the work of mitochondria is to generate ATP. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. That is energy. Okay, in a layman's term, yan ay energy. So, of course, yung cell kailangan niya ng energy. Pag walang energy, edi wala siyang lakas, hindi niya magagawa yung mga trabaho niya. So, this is the mitochondria. Okay, yan yung tagagawa ng energy. Para siyang sausage-like, no? Para siyang sausage na may, ano, na may ketchup, no? So, ang mitochondria, double membrane. So, meron siyang outer membrane at meron siyang inner membrane. So, double membrane. Later on, I'll give more details about this. For chloroplast, it's a green color component of the cell, and it's usually found in plants and algae because plants and algae do photosynthesis. So again, the chloroplast is the site for photosynthesis. And if you notice here, it's also double membrane. They have outer membrane and also the inner membrane. Okay, so we'll discuss that, okay, in a bit. So let's go first with mitochondria, origin, evolutionary. Paano ba nagkaroon ng mitochondria sa loob ng plant cell or animal cell? There's actually a story behind that. They say that mitochondria have a similarities with bacteria. The prokaryote, yung kaninang mini-mention ko sa inyo, may similarities itong mitochondria na to. Because ang mitochondria, meron siyang envelope na double membrane, meron siyang free ribosome. Sa loob mismo ng mitochondria, may free ribosome. Meron din siyang circular DNA molecule. Di ba I-mention nyo a while ago yung prokaryote, ang kanilang DNA is pabilog. And nakita rin to sa loob ng mitochondria. So, atong mitochondria kaya ding mag-grow, reproduce somewhat independently in cells. Kaya niya isang gumawa nito, no, without the help of others. So with all of this information, they thought that mitochondria was actually originally a bacteria noong unang panahon. And paano siya napunta sa loob ng animal cell or plant cell? It's through the process called endosymbiont. It's endosymbiont theory na ang pinapaniwalaan na before itong animal cell, this is a ancestor eukaryotic cell, in-engulf daw yung prokaryote, kinain sa loob. And eventually, naging mitochondria. Mitochondrion is singular. Mitochondria is plural. So, dumami na lang si mitochondria sa loob. Alright? So, this is endosymbiont. So, yun yung story ng mitochondria. So, information about mitochondria. Again, it's the site for ATP, no? Adenosine triphosphate para makagawa ng energy. So, itong na-mention ko kanina, itong mga mitochondria, meron silang outer membrane. It's a smooth outer membrane at meron silang inner membrane folded. Ang tawag doon ay cristae. So, yung mga folded sa loob na inner membrane is cristae. Now, itong cristae na to, okay, the inner membrane, meron siyang dalawang compartment. Meron siyang intermembrane space and mitochondrial matrix. Ulitin natin, meron siyang intermembrane space. Okay, ito, yung mga space dyan. Ito, yung mga space dito sa in between the outer and inner. At meron din siyang mitochondrial matrix. Ito, yung nasa loob mismo. Now, some metabolic steps para gumawa ng ATP ay nangyayari. Some metabolic steps of cellular are catalyzed in mitochondrial matrix. Yung iba, nangyayari dito sa loob ng mitochondrial matrix. At meron din namang dito sa cristae. So, cristae present a large surface area for enzymes that synthesizes ATP. So, yung cristae, ayan yung folding, dun yung iba na process ng paggawa ng ATP. When we go to cellular respiration, we will go back to mitochondria and learn more on how this membrane works for producing ATP. Okay. Next is the peroxisome or oxidation. Ang trabaho ng peroxisome, it's actually a vesicle for oxidation. So it's a specialized metabolic compartments bound by a single membrane, so may membrane din, produce hydrogen peroxide and convert it to water. Performs reactions with many different functions, and how peroxisomes are related to other organelles is still ano. So, speaking of organelles, lahat ng na-mention ko a while ago, we have the Golgi body, rough ER, smooth ER, the vesicles, the lysosomes, even the peroxisomes, lahat ng may membrane. Lahat yun may membrane yun eh. Yun ay organelles. Okay? Sila yung tinatawag natin na membrane-bound organelles that play a special function inside the cell. Okay, so let's have a 5 minutes break and then we'll continue with the last topic for cell structure and function. Okay? We have cytoskeleton. So cytoskeleton, it's a structural support of the cell. So here on the image below, I am showing you a picture of a cell. So yung blue color dito, this is the nucleus. And yung mga green and orange color, these are the cytoskeleton. So cytoskeleton, skeleton, no, structural support. Cyto, it means cell. So a network of fibers that organizes structure and activities in the cell. It organizes the cell structure and activities, anchoring many organelles. It is composed of three types of molecular structure. So may tatlo tayong cytoskeleton. We have the microtubules or tubules. Depende kung sino yung teacher. Some teachers would mention microtubules, no? There's microtubules, microfilaments, and intermediate filaments. So etong tatlo na to, lahat yan ay for support. So, support and motility. It support the cell and maintain its shape. So, that's very important for maintaining the shape. And also, it interacts with motor proteins to produce motility para makagalaw. So, remember that inside the cell, we have a vesicle. So the vesicle travel along a tracks provided by the skeleton. So in this image, we have the microtubule here, yung yellow, okay? And then we have here the motor protein and the vesicle. So sabi natin kanina, di ba, nung sa Golgi body kay ER, may vesicle tayo, transport vesicle. And actually that vesicle, para makapag-transport siya, kailangan niya ng motor protein. So, yung motor protein, of course, kailangan may energy para makagalaw and supported siya nitong microtubule para maka-transport from the Golgi body to plasma membrane or from ER to Golgi body. So, ganun sila nagtatrabaho sa loob ng cell. Hindi siya lumulutang. Okay? So, meron siyang protein na tumutulong para maka-work. And that protein or makagalaw, and that protein is attached to microtubule. Now, ano bang difference ng tatlo na to na na-mention natin? The microtubule is the thickest. Siya yung pinakamakapal among the three. And the microfilament, siya yung thinnest, pinakamanipis, no? At meron siyang actin filament. Now, in between the microtubule and microfilaments, we have now the intermediate. Siya yung parang kalagitnaan ng range ng sizes. So, ito yung nasa left side, this is the microtubule. Okay, and then here is the microfilament. It has a actin subunit, and we have here the intermediate filament. So I provide here a what they call this, a table para differentiate yung tatlong cytoskeleton. So we have microtubule, it's a hollow tube. So butas yung gitna ng microtubule. This is the size, so it's quite larger than the two. Meron siyang tubulin, ito yung composition ng microtubulin at ito yung kanyang trabaho. Maintenance of cell shape, cell motility, chromosome movement in cell division, and organelle movement. For microfilament or actin filament, two intertwined strands of actin. So yan yung kanyang composition. Actin. Actin is a protein also. Ito yung size. Okay, so ang composition is the actin. Ito naman yung trabaho. Maintenance of cell shape, changes in cell shape, muscle contraction, cytoplasmic streaming in plant cells, cell motility, and division of animal cells. For the intermediate filament, it's composed of fibrous proteins coiled into cable. So ganito ang itsura ng intermediate filament. This is the size, intermediate between the two. One of several different proteins such as keratin yung composition. And ito yung trabaho. Maintenance of cell shape, anchorage of nucleus, and certain other organelles, formation of certain nuclear lamina. Okay, so lahat yan ay importante for support, structural support. Okay? In addition to that, okay, itong microtubules is also part of the centrosome and the centrioles. So, itong dalawa na
Walang
to
panghuhuli.
ay importante for the cellular division. So, mame-mention din natin yan later on. But for now, I would like you to understand that the centrosome, uh, actually an outgrowth of microtubules near the nucleus. The centrosome has two pair of centrioles. So, itong isang centrioles and then another centrioles, collectively, they are called centrosome. They are important for what? For cellular division. Also, ang microtubules, yan ay ang cilia at flagella, yan ay gawa sa microtubules. Kasi narinig nyo na si cilia and flagella, these are both for movement. Gawa yan kay microtubules. So microtubules control the beating of the flagella and the cilia. Microtubule containing extensions that project from some cells. So cilia and flagella differ in beating patterns. So this is an example of a flagella. Mas mahaba ang flagella. This is a sperm cell. So this is made up of microtubules. This is an example on the right side, yung parang hair-like structure. These are example of cilia. So if we're going to compare, itong mga cilia mas ano siya shorter yung kanilang length in comparison to flagella. Okay, so ano bang common structure ng cilia and flagella? They have a core of microtubules sheathed by a plasma membrane. They have a basal body that anchors the cilium or flagellum, and they also have a motor protein called dynein, which derives the bending movement of cilia and flagella. So, yun yung kanilang pinagka-parehas, no? They share a common structure. Anong pinagkaiba nila? Si flagella, it's longer than the cilia. So, this is an example of uh, how they are connected to the plasma membrane. Okay? Again, it's a sheet by plasma membrane, core sheet plasma membrane. At ito naman yung arrangement ng microtubules. So we have 9 plus 2. Why is it 9 plus 2? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then meron yung dalawa sa loob. 2. Okay, so ito dalawa eh, nakasulat. Ayan, dalawa. Okay? Okay, this one pala is the basal body. So, ang composition ng basal body, triplet, tapos may isa. Okay, and then in this part, pagka na-sheet na siya, the outgrowth from plasma membrane, ang composition niya na is double lang, dalawa lang, doublet, and then may dalawa sa gitna. Okay, did you get me here? This is the plasma membrane. So, naka-anchor kasi itong flagella and cilia dito kay plasma membrane. So, yung basal body, yung kanyang composition ay ganito. Yan, composition. Okay, isa lang yung nasa loob. Tapos triplet. Pero kapag yung outgrowth na mismo, itong mismong nasa labas, yung fertility, ganito na yung kanilang composition ng microtubules. 9 plus 2. Okay, now for the macrofilament, actin filament. So, microfilament that function in cellular motility contain protein myosin. It has a protein myosin in addition to actin. So, ang microfilament composed siya 'di ba ng intertwined na actin, pero tinutulungan din siya ni myosin. So, we have myosin here. Okay, we have myosin yung purple color. And then yung actin is tong intertwined na actin filament. So yung dalawang yan, they go hand in hand para magkaroon ng relaxation and also contraction of muscle. Pagka nagkaroon tayo ng relaxation and contraction of muscle, doon tayo nagkakaroon ng movement. Ganon din nagkakaroon ng movement ang cell, no? So in muscle cells, thousands of actin filaments are arranged parallel to one another. Localized contraction brought by the actin and myosin also drives amoeboid movement by extending pseudopodia. So this is an example of amoeba, and yung movement ng amoeba ay tinatawag nating pseudopodia. So that is because of the actin and myosin. Okay? Next, Now, let's go to the last part. Hindi pa pala to. Mayroon pang isang last. This is about extracellular matrix or the ECM. Extracellular. From the word itself, extra. So, ibig sabihin, nasa labas siya ng cell. So, this is the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. This is inside the cell and this is outside the cell. So, outside the cell, it's called extracellular fluid. So, meron ding mga ibang materials tayong makikita dyan. Extracellular. So, we have the glycoprotein na na-mention natin kanina, such as collagen, proteoglycan, and fibronectin. Meron din tayong receptor proteins in the plasma membrane called integrin. So, kanina, na-mention ko sa inyo yung sa plasma membrane, meron tayong protein, right? Now, kapag lumalagpas na yung protein, okay, sa ECM, so, yan, mga integrins yan. Okay. Okay, now, we know that the cell, ito na yung last part. We know that the cell are actually covered by cell membrane, right? Now, the question is, how do they communicate to each other? Halimbawa, maraming cell na magkakasama. We have tissues. Now, paano sila nagkakaroon ng communication? They use this cell junction. In neighboring cells in tissues, organs, or organ system often adhere, so nakadikit, they interact and communicate through direct physical contact. So these are different kinds of cell junctions. So we have the tight junction, we have intermediate filament, we have the desmosome, the gap junction, and also ion or molecules. So let's see if what are these examples of tight junction. So we have just cell junction. So first we have the tight junction. Tight junction. Neighboring cells are pressed together, preventing leakage extracellular fluid. So ganito ang itsura nila, no? So tight. So etong cell na to, this is the cell 1, this is the cell 2. So ganyan, no, para silang naka-stapler. So may connection sila, they communicate, they adhere to one another using this tight junction. Next is the desmosome. The desmosome is anchoring din siya. So fasten the cell together, strong sheet. So ganyan, no, para siyang uh, tinahi, no, pinagdikit, no, and yan ay through the use of intermediate filaments. This is desmosome. Gap junction, communicating. Para magkaroon sila ng communication, so they provide cytoplasmic channels between the adjacent cells. So yun nga yung kanina yung may pwedeng daanan. So they communicate. They can communicate by exchanging molecules. Pinapadaan nila. And that is through this gap junction. Okay, so yun yung tatlo. We have tight, desmosome, and gap junction. Okay, so ito na yung huli. So living cell greater than the sum of its parts. So cells rely the integration of structures and organelles in order to function. So example, in macrophages, this is macrophage. Macrophages' ability to destroy bacteria involves whole cell, coordinating components such as cytoskeleton, lysosome, and plasma membrane. So it only says here na ang lahat ng structure na na-mention natin a while ago, they actually work hand by hand. One example is the macrophage. The macrophage, yung trabaho nila is kainin yung mga foreign body, okay, or destroy the bacteria. And paano nila gagawin yung pagde-destroy sa bacteria na yon is dapat magkakaroon ng coordination lahat ng meron sa cell, including the cytoskeleton, the lysosome, even the plasma membrane. So in this example, we have the yellow color. These are bacteria. Looks like a bacillus. Okay? And the macrophage is this one, yung malaking bilog, no? So parang nagkakaroon ng war, ano alam mo yun, parang sa anime, naglalabanan sila. So kailangan, para ma-perform ni macrophage yung kanyang trabaho, kailangan mag-coordinate lahat ng components ng cell na na-mention natin a while ago. And that is the end of our lesson for today. Okay, so any question from you?